YouTube, just
here we go.
click.
Here we go.
Right?
Yeah, just click on the
put it
Facebook stream. I started the YouTube stream and I'm waiting for it to register. YouTube says your stream is now live and healthy.
It looks like something's happening over there. So
check it out, bring it on. Okay, are we live on YouTube?
Yes, we are.
Super cool, great. Okay, so we've got the podcast going, we've got Facebook going, we've got YouTube going. Oh, we're
everything that we need.
We're in the house, so you can join us on
Practical Parenting.
Hello?
Facebook Live.
Who are you? Where did you come from?
I'm sorry, I'm jumping into everything that he's saying today, and you're probably going to be pretty annoyed by the end of this thing.
Yeah. Let's just get that out of the way right now.
Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay. Right. You're joining us for Practical Parenting with Charlie Brown in the background.
We have to turn him down a bit.
Put him down. He's terrible. Put him down a bit more.
Turn him down a bit. That's it.
I had to turn him down a bit. I turned him. Turn him down. Okay, cool. What's going on? I noticed you had a bit of makeup on today. I had a little bit of makeup on yesterday as well. I didn't notice yesterday. See? Wait, you had makeup on yesterday when we did the live video. Yes. Okay. I put a little bit of eyelash thingy. You put on makeup. We did yesterday's one at 8 o'clock in the morning. Yes. You put makeup on? Okay. Yes. It's like brushing your teeth, doing the eyelash thingy. I see these people in the swimming pool. Women with makeup on in the swimming pool. I've seen that before as well. Do you know what you didn't see yesterday that I saw? What? Right. A panda. Swimming in the pool. It was selective focus, right? You were focusing on all the kids, right? Yeah. Meanwhile, there was a panda swimming across the pool that nobody saw. That wouldn't surprise me at all. Except me. So what did I miss yesterday? Selective focus management. Just before I tell you what you missed yesterday, if you're joining us in the video streams, you're going to get all these visual cues and references. You'll see us sitting in front of the bookshelf. If you're on the podcast, then you might miss a few of the visual clues. So we'll try to be as descriptive as we... Wait a minute. Descriptive? Descriptive. Doesn't D mean not? And scriptive would be the creation of a script, right? That's from description. Description, a scribe is writing. Not written. No, it's not. The D here doesn't mean not. No? What is it? It's like write about, right? What is it? Describe. No? Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe. There's a mad stormtrooper in the background making noises. So! Okay. Yes. What did you see in the freaking swimming pool? Yeah, I also wanted to one more point for the people online is that we're doing directly into the Facebook. So if you're on YouTube and we're not looking at you, it's because the camera's off to the side. I will look at you sometimes just so that you don't feel too distant and left out. Yes. Okay. So there were these two kids in the little pool. Yes. And one of them dived into the little pool, which is about, it's about 10 inches of water, right? And cut themselves, right? I don't know if it was their nose or their lip or whatever. Now, it was obvious that... Where was I? You were in the sauna. You were in the other deeper, bigger pool. Mm-hmm. And it was obvious one of the kids was normal, and the other kids had some kind of learning difficulty. You wouldn't know if they were just walking past, but it was kind of clear that there was a problem there. Mm-hmm. So it was the kid with the sort of learning difficulty that had injured themselves, right? And there was blood coming down the front of their face. So the kids were, I don't know, 5, 6 years old maybe, right? And so the one was helping the other one, saw the blood and was like, come on, let's get out of the water and let's go and get that cleaned up. And the mother came over and she just washed it off with the pool water. She took her hand and cleaned all the blood off of her child's face and then went to the kids' pool and washed her hands in the kids' pool. She washed the blood off her hands in the children's pool. And I was sitting there like, do I say something? And then I was, because our kids were playing in the kids' pool at this point. So our kids were playing in the blood that this mother had washed off her kids. And I was thinking, do I say something to her, or is she too far gone already that she's doing this, that saying anything is not going to have any effect at all? And I made this decision to say nothing, because I decided that if she's the kind of person who thinks that putting blood into the children's pool is a good thing, then obviously a sane and sensible conversation is pointless. I don't know. What do you think? What's your opinion about that?
Well, my opinion that it was obviously a very unlucky solution of the problem to wash her hands in the kids'
unlucky. I mean, luck is based on chance, right? And she
lucky.
made.
I mean, it wasn't a good idea. I wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that, right? People who stop and think about these things wouldn't do that. But we don't know why she didn't stop and think about this, right? So, who knows? Usually, I know some parents with autistic children. You said that he had some kind of learning difficulty. Sorry. And I know
talking the kid, not the mother, although that's questionable as well.
And I know that it can be extremely challenging to take care of these type of kids.
Okay.
Therefore, I'm kind of, maybe more forgiving.
You're more
because.
How can you forgive someone for putting blood into the kids' pool? How do you forgive someone for? I mean, okay, you move on from it, but it's not a good thing.
It's not a good thing. No, it's not a good thing. And
you forgive someone for.
And anyone knows that it's not a good thing if you just think.
Is it something that the person should be forgiven for?
It's something that.
It doesn't strike me as something that they need to be forgiven for. I don't know. It strikes me as something that they need to be where it needs to be pointed out.
Aware of.
Yeah. What kind of person thinks that it's okay to put blood into the kids' pool? What kind of person?
Well, this exactly is what I have a problem with.
You're
asking the question, what kind of person would do that? I'm saying that it doesn't have to be that kind of person, because you don't know what the situation is. It is possible that she hasn't slept.
Watched the situation.
It's possible that she hasn't slept for 3 nights, right? And her brain is not working. Okay. So you can't judge the person based on one single action, right? So obviously the action wasn't a good idea. And maybe it would be okay to point it out gently. Gently.
Okay, give me a script.
Or politely, right? You wouldn't go and say, "What the hell are you doing?"
Give me a script. Give me a script for the gently Bentley approach to this situation. Someone's shouting.
I would say, well, excuse me, I have noticed that you have just washed your kid's blood in a pool, and I hope that your kid is okay. Is he fine? I would inquire about his health, and she would say, fine, thank you. And I would say, well, do you think that maybe next time you could wash the blood somewhere else so that the other kids don't swim in it, right?
Well, Will, can you go and help your sister, please?
She'll tell you.
Please, thank you very much.
Half it for the girls. You can share it. You can have half and a half each, okay? Okay, sorry. That was needed. Because there would have been a fight.
Yeah, due to the fact the microphones were built by me, for us.
Please don't touch them too much.
Yeah, because they're I'm not very good with these kind of techniques. She plays with it again.
I just moved it towards my mouth so that people out there can hear me.
Okay.
Yes?
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Thank you very much,
Okay,
Will.
that's
Thank you very
great.
much,
Did you
Will.
help them cut it in a half or
yeah,
peel
did
it
you
or
give them a
something?
plate and a spoon so that they can eat it properly?
Yeah, you have to do that. Yeah,
Yes.
cut them in a half and put them on plates and
You mean cut
give
the,
them
cut the
spoons.
kiwis in half, not the kids?
Not the kids.
Right.
Not the kids.
Okay.
So that's what if I was going to say something, that's what I would say.
We trust you to make the right choices. Right.
Right?
Oh, sorry, I was talking to Will.
Yes. I said
No.
I said that's what I would say.
Okay. Okay. I've got another point.
Yes.
Intro point that I'd like to discuss before we get into the main themes and topics today. By the way, if you're watching us online, you can
Leave comments.
Yes, you can leave comments.
Sorry.
You can ask questions.
Did it again, didn't I?
Jumped in.
Yes. It's just I want to help.
You're like
you're
a
suffering.
You're like a lion grabbing a gazelle around the neck with your
It's like when you're saying something and it takes so long, it's painful for me to wait for you to finish your sentence.
I'm sorry about that. There's this kind of phrase that people use, though. It's just like, comment, subscribe.
Yes.
Like, comment, subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe.
LCS.
LCS.
Liked, comment, subscribed, like,
That would-
comment, survived. There you go.
Said with TLC. All right. There we go. There we go. What else? Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about something that I've never heard anybody talk about on any parenting podcast or any parenting video
I'll put this away
or any.
Okay.
I've never heard this talked about before at all, and I
Okay.
think this is real parenting, right? It's the poo, right?
The poo.
The poo, right?
Poo.
The poo. Will has become the toxic avenger, right? I don't know what's going on, and I don't remember going through that period of time myself, right?
You
So,
don't.
Lost history.
You're still going through that period of time.
No, but it's just that after he has been to the bathroom, there's a potent, pungent kind of thing going on in there.
Aroma.
It makes me want to roam. Roam somewhere else. And the bathroom has to be sprayed with the
She needs a bit more tissue, Mom.
What? Oh, he was being mom today.
It's being Mom.
I thought he was being dad. Playing families.
Go on, Mom.
Right, as the kids scream and shout in the background. Hi Peter, how's it going? Hope the filming's going really well. They just I love the way they shout out with energy. I don't think there's 30. You can set a stopwatch on 30 seconds, right? And you wouldn't get to 30 seconds before someone shouted something.
Yeah.
Across the flat.
Before someone shouted "Mummy" across the flat. Specifically.
Yeah, they don't shout Daddy because Daddy just ignores them most of the time. Or does things at his own pace in his own time, which is really frustrating for them.
Wait an hour and a half, darling. I'm in the middle of something.
Yeah, I'm usually, I've got 15 cables tangled around my left ankle. And
Your left angle.
Did I say angle? Ankle. Ankle.
Which one of your angles is the left one?
It's a 90 degree one.
I always
at the
thought you were
bottom of
very
my
angular.
leg. Angular. Have you noticed that modern cartoons are very angular? Have you noticed that? Whereas the older cartoons, like the Charlie Brown, it was on over there, right? They're rounded shapes and soft shapes, but the modern cartoons are really, really jagged and angular. Like the cartoon characters are almost like explosions.
Have you noticed that
the difference
Slovak
between
language
the two.
doesn't have the word angular?
It's because there are no angles in this country. Because there are no such things as right angles, as you can tell from every flat or every house that has been built. The corners are either 100 degrees or 80 degrees, but 90 degrees is just it's like it's a cardinal sin to have a 90-degree angle in this country.
Yep.
Look at the clock tower in town, right? The Leaning Pisa
the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
The Leaning Clock Tower of Pisa has the advantage, right? Eventually they'll just fall over and nobody will do anything. People will just walk around.
It would probably fall over if they took off that. Somebody told me that they wanted to remove that little ice cream shop that was on the side of the tower, but they couldn't because it would topple over. They're probably just making fun, but I would believe that.
It's the ice cream shop that's holding up the tower.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I think that was just a joke. Well, yes. Your child needs something.
Well, your sisters need something, and you've broken the rule that you promised to keep. So
your child needs something. You have to go take care of her daddy.
I was trying to do the same thing as you with my hand on the video, but I couldn't.
You've got the wrong hand, man.
Oh. Right. Story of my life. Right. Right. So
the poo. Yes, it's like 10 things they don't tell you about parenting. The poo would be number one.
That you will spend half of your life wiping somebody else's ass.
And another half of your life trying to remove the smell from the bathroom.
Yeah.
We don't wipe Will's butt anymore.
It was kind of crazy today.
We had to do it for a very long time, didn't we?
I made him clean the toilet after going to the toilet, right, today. And he's doing it again. He's just trying as hard as possible to distract us by waving his arms up and down in the background. Well, no, I don't know what's going on, but I trust you to make the right decisions. Please do not jump up and down behind the cameras and wave your arms like that.
You want to watch another movie?
You're distracting us, Will. You can't, because we're in here, Will. You have to wait as normal. Okay, Will, can you please go to your room or go to the front room? Because standing behind the camera, jumping up and down, waving your arms, it's just unacceptable.
Yes, darling?
I'm sorry. We have limits. Okay? You agreed with us at the beginning to not talk during our presentation, and you've broken that rule. So, could you... there's lots of things that you can do in other parts of the house.
After we're finished, okay?
Right? There's lots of things that you can do right now.
Can you go and play?
Well, you're still standing there, and...
Okay, darling, but after we're finished. Can you go and play in your room now?
Until we finish.
Go and play
I just told you, because you've broken the rules. We had an agreement at the beginning, and you've broken your end of the agreement.
Okay.
So, there we go. It's very important to keep your word. Kids have to learn to keep their word and realize that you don't get what you want to get if you don't keep your end of the bargain. So you got to hold to that in all areas of life. How are you going to make a successful business deal, right? And have happy customers if you don't keep your end of the bargain, your end of the promises.
Yes, you also have to take into account the developmental stage that they are in. And I think... No? Well, try and suggest something else, or ask him what he would like to play. See if you can make it fun.
Remember that there's... Welcome to real-time parenting. This is why we needed to do this at 8 o'clock in the morning and not 11 o'clock. We need to do it while the kids are asleep. Right. I mean, it's good to try this at different times of the day. Like the evening we're tired.
Listen, why don't you talk about the poop while I go and sort out the situation very quickly?
Because I finished talking about it. Because I presented the situation and I wanted your opinion. I'm not going to...
Stop.
Yeah, because I don't want to talk about it for a long period of time because I don't find it a very nice topic to discuss. But I think it's something that should be discussed. I don't enjoy the discussion and the imagery and everything created by it, but I think it's something It's real. People, you know, people are. I've seen all these other podcasts out there where people are talking about management strategies with your children and behaviorism and all these things, and not one of them is talking about
behaviorism. Is a horrible thing to use in parenting. It's like you choose the worst ism to use in parenting.
Well, we talked about childism in the last one, and I didn't like that term. I don't like the whole concept of childism.
Just the isms. The isms are not good, but
I hate prisms.
If it calls, if it offers a name for something,
cubism is horrible as well.
You know, if it offers a name for something, then why not use it?
Communism is pretty dangerous. Socialism hasn't worked.
Stop it.
Stop it.
Stop it. So behaviorism.
I've got the ugly mug, and I don't mean my face.
He's being funny today.
The flowery cup. I hate the flowery cup. Even
you have the girls' cup, and I have the boys' cup.
Apple blow. Is that big? Is that a big enough cup? You could swim in that. You could keep goldfish in that cup. It's so big.
I couldn't swim in that. What are you talking about?
Time for a drink.
What are you drinking?
Coffee.
I've got tea. Got some kind of weird herbal mix.
Not that it's about winning, but I win. Because it makes me feel better.
Well, I win because you've got the ugly mug.
No, Mommy has the ugly mug.
Your glasses make you look like a mad scientist. Insults there. We're just going to trade insults. Yeah.
I am a mad scientist.
Why do the lenses need to be so big? It's like you've got two windows.
I had glasses like you do, and I hated them. I couldn't stand them because every time I looked down, I couldn't see anything because I was looking under my glasses, and every time I looked up, I couldn't see anything because I was.
Why don't you just wear a giant goldfish ball on your head?
That would be perfect. or like diving goggles.
With a little bit to cover your nose as well, then you wouldn't have to smell what's
I particularly went for... Oh, sorry, Mike. I particularly went for glasses that would go under and a little bit over.
Girls, can you read the book together, please? Jazzy, I think...
Jazzy, you pulled it out of Zora's hand.
Yeah, look at it together. Put it on the floor and both sit down together, and Zora can explain to you how to read the words. Zora?
Can you tell Jasmine the story about Gruffalo's ween? That's the Gruffalo's ween.
That's going to sound really bad in some languages, in some countries, I'm quite sure.
Is it?
How's your ween? Right.
Smashing.
Okay. I told you the Scottish accent was going to come back after watching Hamish Macbeth.
Yes.
For the last 3 nights. Robert Carlyle is the man, though.
He is the man.
He is the man. What an amazing actor.
He's such a painful character, though. He's like a...
Troubled. He's troubled, isn't he? He's troubled. He.
You feel kind of embarrassed for him.
Yeah, you do. You're drawn in by his vulnerability.
Yes.
And he plays on that very well. He knows his.
He's the kind of film character that you want to smack and shake.
I think we should have like a
Hamish Macbeth night.
No. We should have a Robert Carlyle season, and we should watch some of his.
Yes, that's a good idea. Yes, let's have a Robert Carlyle season. We had seasons before that we talked about with.
We had lots of seasons. We did the Glee thing. We did the
actor marathons, right? All films by an actor. We did
the classical actors.
Guy with the teeth name, Elvis Presley.
Zora, if you helped your sister with the book, she wouldn't be using it as a trampoline right now. Okay, so you're making the problem bigger by not helping. Guys, you need to read it together.
Yeah.
Try to turn the pages normally. whatever that means. Try to do it like that. Okay.
Yeah. We had every Elvis Presley time and Frank Sinatra time and stuff like that.
We did Presley, we did Sinatra, we did Errol Flynn, we did Gene Kelly.
John Wayne.
We did John Wayne. Why did I choose all males? I did suggest Audrey Hepburn, and you went.
We did a little bit of Audrey Hepburn. We did a little bit of the other woman as well.
You should do Grace Kelly, because there's quite.
What's her name?
Grace Kelly is in
Judy
the guest.
Garland. We did Judy Garland.
Judy Garland. We should do Grace Kelly though, because I noticed that Grace Kelly is in one musical with Bing Crosby. Mm-hmm. That we didn't finish watching, which looked really good because it was kind of dramatic. And then I noticed that she was also in Gaslighting.
Oh, was she?
The original movie, which we
wanted to watch,
which we talked about the other day. And there must be a lot of other. Wasn't she in the other Bing Crosby musical? That's based on the Philadelphia story.
Yes, she was.
What's it called?
It was the
High Society.
High Society.
It's called High Society. High Society. And that's got the black jazz. Louis Armstrong. Is it Louis Armstrong's in it singing and playing the trumpet or something
Armstrong,
like that? Wow, that's pretty cool. Playing his Donald trumpet, right? Got him in there, right? And there must be more as well, and that's the golden age of cinema. And so you're not talking about special effects and things added afterwards. It was just set up the cameras, point them, and call out action, and people acted that way.
Philadelphia Story was a great movie. It was my favorite movie.
I've watched that about 100 times, and I can watch it 100 times more, and I don't feel like I'm wasting time when I watch it, just because.
James Stewart is just so funny in there. The drunk scene.
That's one of the best drunk scenes ever played in the history of cinema. You are now pulling all the cables off in front of you. You're not looking at what you're doing. Why are you playing with your computer right now? Why do you feel the need? You've done it again. You've done it again. I've just asked you not to pull all the cables, and you're pulling them all again.
Well, how am I supposed to do this then?
Take the thing out of the back of your computer like any normal person. Can I pull this out?
Yes.
There you go. Look, done. It's not going to be a bother anymore.
Well, I still need it in. Thank you.
You can't do that, because then when you put it down, you pull all the cables out. My God, what's wrong with women in cables? What is it with women in cables? Why can't the
women be more like men? Professor Higgins.
The one rule for doing these casts is that you can't put on all the cables because they were all built by me and I'm not a technician.
I know, but I'm worried that it's going to turn itself off if I leave it like this for too long.
Look, check the... Look, do you want some help with this? Would you like me to help you? Would you like me to solve this problem for you, so that you're not pulling all the cables out of all the systems and we lose all the broadcasts?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Do the man thing.
Okay. Right. Okay. Okay. There we go. Down. Okay. This cable, I'm going to move right here. This lifetime management and problem solving. Okay.
Well, this is what I suggested in the first place, and you said, "Oh, okay."
Well, you didn't tell me you were going to not play with all the cables. Do you? I have one rule. I have one rule and only one rule. That's it.
Is this going to be okay? Yes. If I plug it in here.
The rule is that you don't mess around with the cables during the broadcast, and you can't seem to keep that rule. Whatever you do, you seem to be pulling them or playing with them or fiddling with them or trying to unplug them.
How about we get wireless headsets?
How about you pay for it? How about you pay for getting wireless headsets? How about you set up a wireless system? How about that? I mean, what is it? Women seem to think they click their fingers and, I don't know, airplane tickets appear, or they click their fingers and the sun comes out. They click their fingers and
you stop talking.
The fridge becomes full.
No! Stop talking. That's why I asked it as a question, because I don't know if it's technically possible. What, to click your fingers and have things magically appear? It's not possible. To set up a system.
Magic only exists in films. Sorry. No, shut up.
Headsets.
What? Hairless? What?
Just finished my word.
What?
I don't know if it's possible to set up a system with wireless headsets. That's why I formulated.
How are you going to connect wireless headsets to 3 different computer systems?
Is it possible or not?
It's not.
Okay, thank you.
You can set up wireless headsets, as I have done through my Skype system for my clients, to one computer system, but you can't set it up to any more. Because you run the risk of too many problems. Because if there is a problem, you don't know where it is, right? And you have to be able to test all the elements of things.
Okay, well, can we talk about parenting now?
You can't stop it, can you? You just did it again. Pulled the cables again. As you were speaking there, you grabbed your hand around the back and pulled the cables again. It's the one thing you're not allowed to do during the
Can we talk
podcast.
about parenting now? Please. You don't want to talk about cables or headsets?
Well, you derailed the conversation about the POO. And that's not the prison officers organization.
It's a POO.
What?
It's a POO.
Pooh.
Oh. Did I? What?
Yes, it's all your fault. Don't you know that? Everything is your fault. The reason why the sun is not shining today is your fault. The reason why the moon is not made of cheese is your fault.
I'm sorry, I forgot. Sometimes I forget that. Sorry.
It's a default position.
Silly me.
The default position is it's all your fault.
Silly me.
I'm not gaslighting at all.
I'm just going to go now.
Don't take anything I say seriously. Why do we say take it literally when we mean seriously? Why do we say that?
I don't know. It's your language.
It doesn't make any sense to me. That doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Why don't you go and grab a roshchik?
Darling, there are bananas in the fridge. Because
and
I put
on
them in
the
the fridge because the flies were attacking them. Do you want a banana from the fridge? There's an apple in the fridge as well. I put an apple in the fridge because the flies, after they finish attacking the bananas, attack the apples.
And roshchiks on the bench.
Yeah. I noticed that earlier Jazzy was using a roshchik to clean her face.
Of course. It contains vitamin B, and vitamin B is good for your skin. Anyway,
so is sunlight.
So yesterday we started to talk about a certain article that I found on the internet.
We're not going to finish the subject. Okay, we're moving on.
On the blog that is called Happiness is Here.
That's good. I like the way that you reference where it comes from.
It was...
My coffee stain looks like a dinosaur.
It's a coffee stain. I was wondering. And the article was called The Mainstream Parenting Myths We Need to Forget. And we went through 5 of them yesterday. And I have number 6 here, which kind of sums up some of the points that we talked about yesterday if you were here. If not, then you can still find us on G's Facebook or on YouTube, and you can just go back to it and watch it again.
It's there forever. Isn't that great?
It is.
I'm going to regret everything that I've said for the last month.
It's
for the rest of my life.
It's there forever until we decide that it's not a good idea for it to stay there.
No, I think it's good because I'm all about transparency, right? Mm-hmm. Even when I get things wrong, I'm still about transparency. I want to be 100% transparent about everything I do. I don't want there to be anything
I can see through you.
Gotta get yourself right. That's a lyric from a song. Gotta get yourself connected. See the writings on the wall.
Okay, Mr. Cellophane. So number 6 from the article about the myths. So this is a parenting myth number 6.
I see through you.
Shut up.
What's the title of the article?
I already said it. I'm not going to say it again.
Oh, please, go on, please, just for me, because I missed it. Okay, I know. It's mainstream parenting myths that we need to forget.
Yes.
Okay.
12 of them.
12?
And we're on the myth number 6, and that is children need routine. And I want your opinion on this, okay? Because according to this author, and I happen to agree with that, children are individuals, just like we are individuals. And some children will thrive on a routine, and some children will be more like, the improvising type of person, like me and you, right? You are the routine children, child, and I'm the improvisation child, right?
You mean as adults?
Yes. And even though I must admit that some level of organization is helpful, I can't do routines for too long because they just kill the joy of living for me. Right?
Routines kill joy.
For me, absolutely. I have to change things. I have to
kill joy.
New stuff every now and then, because just doing the same routine over and over, it's like.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when I exercise, for example, right? I do yoga, or I go. I do the Tabata, but I always do something else, or I find something on the internet to do, or to try new things. Like I can't do the same type of activity over and over and over and over and over again, because I'm just, I don't know. I need flexibility. So, author says, kids are just like that, right? Some of them thrive on routines, some of them don't. Does that sound logical to you?
Are you finished? I was just letting you ramble on there. Right. Yeah, well, there's that issue. If it works, why change it? Right.
Yeah. That's true.
And this is both problematic and what would be what would be the opposite of problematic? Systematic, hydromatic? I don't know. So, yeah, if it works, why change it? A lot of people say, well, look, this works for me, that's why I do it. And they never explore anything else, so they never grow. So that's kind of a big... You can't stop playing with it,
I'm trying to make sure that people will be able to hear me. Or should I just shout louder?
You shouldn't play with it.
But it keeps going down.
Well, then start with it higher.
Yeah, but when it keeps going down, I have to kind of...
Start with it higher, and it won't go anywhere. There's a natural limit for it. Look, there's this thing that goes around. Look, it's this thing that goes around the back. You've got you.
Can to remove my ears?
It's going up your nose.
You got to remove my ears if you do that.
Can I remove your? If you remove your ears, that's not going to. They'll have nothing to hang on, will they?
Exactly.
So, if it, good job, darling. Oh, she's in the mood.
Oh no, she doesn't want us to interfere.
If it
good.
Okay, so did I answer your point? Like if it works,
yeah.
A lot of people say if it works, why change it? They don't grow as a result. What is the main point that you're trying to make here?
Oops.
Could you?
That the
children don't need
universal.
Routine. You're saying children don't need routine.
No, I'm saying some children do and some children don't. I'm saying that it doesn't apply to all children.
Children don't have a choice because their parents set up the world for them, right? So if the parent likes a routine, the child is stuck with a routine. If the parent doesn't like a routine, the child is stuck with no routine. There's very little children can do to alter
Well, this is why we're doing it, right? So that parents can communicate with the children and find the best solutions. That's the point of this whole
project.
project.
Some people, like to play devil's advocate, some people argue that children don't know what's best for them. I'm just being the devil, okay?
Children don't know what's best for them.
Yeah, because
so
for example,
yeah.
If parents didn't say clean your teeth, they wouldn't clean their teeth before going to bed, right? They wouldn't wash their hands after, playing outside or having a meal or something like that, right? Or before
well,
a
of
meal.
course children need some sort of guidance to stay safe, right?
Like a missile.
But that doesn't mean that they have to be stuck in a routine that they're not happy with. Right? I mean, you communicate.
So you're saying structured and unstructured time should be included. Can you structure in unstructured time? Or is that a contradiction?
Look, do our children have a bedtime routine at 7:30? Exactly the same steps. Read a book, brush your teeth, say your prayers, go to bed.
No.
No. No.
They don't have that.
Are they all right?
They appear to be.
Right. I have noticed when I was in Scotland, that Zora, for example, had a problem to get herself ready in the morning and in the evening to go to bed. So I created a routine for her, and she stuck to it for a time, and it helped her to, you know, get things moving in the morning and in the evening. So I offered a routine, and it was good for her, and it helped her back then. But the point is, you're flexible. That was what was needed then. It is not what is needed now. So that's the whole point, right?
You're saying grow with your kids.
Yes, I'm saying that there's no universal rule for all the children in the universe at all times.
There's not?
About routines. No.
There's not?
There's not.
Oh my gosh.
Number 7, another myth. Not allowing children to quit.
Is she allowed to do that?
No, not really.
She's
Doing that with a marker.
She's doing the permanent marker in the Kids Basics English exercise book.
Jasmine, can I give you a different pen?
Or a pencil,
darling,
perhaps.
or a pencil. Yeah? Yeah, I know, but you can't erase it when you use it with that with that book, sweetie. I'm not sure if it's even worth trying to save what's there to save.
No, because she'll lose. Okay, that's good. Let's just.
I guess that one's gone. Okay. So, another myth.
Have to make another one.
Not allowing children to quit encourages commitment, right? Practical example. A child plays the violin because at some point they decided they would like to play the violin, but after a year and a half they find out that it's not something that they want to do anymore because they don't enjoy it anymore, so they decide to quit. And parents have two choices. I'm going to let them quit, or I'm going to force them to finish the course because they have made a commitment at the beginning and they have to finish it whatever happens, whether they like it or not. So, which solution do you agree with?
Somebody is deliberately taking the sliding door in the kids' room and banging it as hard as possible against the wall.
I can hear that. Would you like me to go and address the issue?
Well, let's wait a couple of. Let's wait a minute and see what happens again.
Okay.
But Will has decided that he needs to get all of the attention right now and be as loud and as distracting as he can.
I bet you it's not Will. I bet you Zora is lying on the beanbag doing that with her feet because I've seen her doing that before.
Whatever it is, they're probably frustrating each other. Right. What's the question?
What do you think? What is your opinion on the thing?
About what? I need a specific
You're not listening to me.
I am listening to you.
I can't have a conversation with you if you're not listening to what I'm saying.
I am listening very carefully. I've got one kid over there who's doing something they shouldn't be doing. 2 kids over there doing something they shouldn't be doing. And we're probably doing something we shouldn't be doing as well. Yay!
I was saying if a child makes a commitment at the beginning to attend a certain course and decide to quit halfway because it's not what they imagined or they don't enjoy doing it anymore, what do you think is the right thing to do? Let them quit or force them to keep going?
Okay. There's a basic equation which is correct, which is that not quitting equals a commitment to something. However, children's lives are not black and white in terms of that element of commitment. And so if you don't let them quit, they don't learn anything that they would have learned from quitting. So what you're doing is you're preventing them from learning the consequences of their own actions in that kind of situation. So if they decide they want to quit and you don't let them quit, they could actually learn more from quitting than actually staying doing the activity. For example, they could learn that maybe they're right to quit. They could learn that maybe they were wrong to quit and they want to go back to the activity. But you're not giving them that space to learn. You are telling them what the correct thing is to do in the learning process. So Perhaps it should be clearly discussed. Perhaps it should be negotiated. Perhaps you should look at the incentives involved in this situation.
Absolutely. I think you should look behind the action and see the reasons why they want to quit, most of all, and then help them go through it. For example, I went to a ballet and I didn't want to continue in the ballet because the ballet school was too far away and I had to walk 45 minutes to get there and then walk back 45 minutes to get
so
home.
You stopped ballet because you didn't want to walk there.
That was a part of it. I also stopped because I was at the age where I could see that I wasn't good at it and I wasn't making any progress and I wasn't willing to put any hard work into it. But that was a large part of it because
you weren't good at it.
Because I would go to school in the morning, right? I would walk to school for 20 minutes in the morning. I would spend the whole day in school, and then I had to walk there after school, say, I don't know, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, already, exhausted from school, to the ballet lesson, and then do that, and then walk home. And by the time I got home, it would be about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'd just be dead on my feet, right?
Which is what the parents probably wanted, because
it was
a lot of parents send their kids to so many activities that by the time they get home in the evening they're
so I decided to try the guitar instead. Anyway, point that the author is making in the article is also to be considered, and that is that children, if you force them to go through with it because they made a commitment at the beginning, may end up being scared to make decisions and scared to make commitments in the future because they will feel that they don't have the option to quit or to change it if they don't like it, right?
Well, they won't start. You mean
exactly.
They won't start.
They'll be too scared to start because they'll be like, well, what if I don't like it and I'm gonna be stuck in it. So it basically teaches children to be powerless, right?
So you're taking power away from children by not allowing them to have their own experiences in quitting an activity.
Yes, basically. Yes, you're teaching them that they have no power over.
What if the child just doesn't want to do anything?
If they don't like it.
What if like you give all these selections to your children, like do these sports or do these music activities or join these clubs? Or do some art or whatever, and they're just like, I don't want to do anything.
There is no child that doesn't want to do anything. A child that doesn't want to do anything does not exist. Okay? Well, what do you mean he doesn't want to do anything? He's going to sit on the chair and look at the wall.
What about those early teenage years, right?
Right.
Where the children often...
Are you telling me that that the child would have like no hobby whatsoever?
No, I'm just curious about experiences that I've heard from parents who say, oh, my son doesn't want to do anything at the moment. Anything. I've got a couple of very specific examples in my mind from clients that I can't talk about.
Does he just like stand in the void and stares in front of him?
No, it doesn't want to do anything that the parents suggest.
Well, then don't suggest freaking anything and ask the child, right?
Yeah, but you ask a child and the child says there's nothing that they want to do. That's the response you get from the child.
There's nothing.
And then the child says they don't want to do anything, but then if you give them a little space, what they want to do is they want to just hang out with their friends. Friends, question mark, of course.
They want to hang out with their friends.
So they don't want to do anything else. They just want to hang out with their friends, question mark.
Well, let them hang out with their friends.
Well, that's kind of what I suggested. I suggested let it, monitor it, but let it go wherever it's going.
Yeah.
It ought to run its natural course. Let your children understand what you think about what they're doing, what your opinion is, but don't dictate to them what they have to do. You can say, it's like, you can say, I don't like this film, but if you want to watch it, you can watch it, right? So, I mean, that's a simple analogy, but they have to go through those. You can't experience something for somebody else.
Teenagers are not kids anymore, right?
Well, there's certain truth in that.
Teenagers are perfectly capable of logical thinking, right? I mean, girls used to become teachers at the age of 14 in the past, right?
Really?
That's what they said in the horrible histories, and I believe them. Yes.
Is that true?
Absolutely, yeah.
Girls used to become teachers at the age of 14.
Yeah, you just went to school, and then you wanted to be a teacher, then, you started teaching kids. And
you wanted to be a teacher because that's all you never knew, because all you did was spend all your time at school. You didn't know anything else existed.
There you go. And if you were a woman, you didn't really have much choice, right? Because women were either teachers or nothing, or sitting at home and taking care of the household,
that ties into my female, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The feminism of education. Not that that's a negative thing, of course.
Children used to go out to become apprentices, age of 12, 13, right?
Yes, the apprenticeships was at the initiation to adulthood, which was between the ages of 12 and 13. Remember, teenagers didn't exist pre-World War II.
Teenagers, it is a concept that's just... I think the concept itself exists because they are still treated like kids, because teenagers don't have the social status that they should have, and that is an apprentice, an adult person who is learning but should have much more responsibility than they have. I mean, my child doesn't want to do anything. Well,
it's a common. A lot of parents experience that. I mean, I guarantee you that anyone who finds or listens to the podcast, right, or any of the streams, will have had that experience if they have older kids.
I understand, and I don't have a teenager, so I'm not going to judge whether that's okay or not okay, or why it's happening even, because I don't know why it's happening, okay? It's probably happening because they're so bored at school, maybe it's because they're always being told what to do at school at all times, and at home sometimes as well. So that
they're not even being told. They're not always being told what to do. They're also told what not to do.
Yeah, exactly. So suddenly, when they're not told what to do, they just don't know what to do with themselves. They just know that this is not what I want, but I have no idea what I do want because I've never been given the freedom to decide what I do want. Right? So I don't know. I mean, when I was a teenager and I wanted something, I wanted to hang out with my friends. At first, I had to make money to be able to do that. Right? I mean, where does he get his money to hang out with his friends?
He gets it from his parents.
Well, there you go. Just, so, look, son, you're freaking 16 years old. You can go and make your own money, right? And that'll give him something to do. And maybe...
you can't just say to kids, okay, go make money. You can't.
Yes, you can.
What are they going to do? They're just going to sit in their room and, just wonder about what you said. You can't just make money. If you could just click your fingers and make money, everybody would be making lots of it. It's not that simple.
Well, I made money when I was a kid. I sold newspapers. I stood on a parking lot and took out the parking tickets. I sold ice cream. I sold popcorn. I did all different kind of things to get some money so that I can hang out with my friends. And what it gave me was I learned what I didn't want to do. Right? I learned, okay, this is how some people can make money, but I want to study something because this is not what I want to do, for a living. Okay? I've realized that my status here doing this is because I can't do anything else. Therefore, I have to learn to do something else, and it got me thinking about what I would like to do in the future. At least.
That's one of the learning points that I kind of have with my clients is that if you find something and you don't like it, and you don't like doing it, it doesn't bring you any joy or any pleasure in terms of an occupation, go in the opposite direction. If you go in the opposite direction from what you don't like, you are pretty sure to find some things that interest you.
Also, I think a good thing to do is to take your child's hobbies seriously, right? Because you can't say, well, you're just playing a computer game. That's nothing. You have to go and take a piano license because that's something, right?
Well,
who says what's nothing and what's something, right?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of things that kids can learn from computer games. I think a lot of people do. I think that it's undervalued.
My brother's whole career, right, is based on the fact that he liked playing computer games when he was a kid.
Yeah, that's probably why he hasn't grown up, though. Sorry, mate, but,
I don't think he's going to be watching.
I know he's not going to find this, but
anyway.
But I don't care, because you're allowed to criticize people. I'm sorry, you are allowed to criticize people.
So yeah, they're not doing nothing. They're doing something. So try to find some value in that, right? And try to get them thinking about the future.
Well, look, computer games are specifically designed to key into the reward and incentive-based human psychology.
Yes.
And if you understand that, then you pretty much understand how most of the world works.
Yes.
And that's there's so much you can learn from that basic principle. That if you provide rewards and incentives, then people are naturally guided in. Not naturally, of course it would be unnaturally, guided in certain directions. Again, I'm not saying this is a good thing. I'm just saying that it's not a bad thing that there are little white dashes down the center of a road to keep one set of cars on the left and one set of cars on the right. Otherwise, they'd be all over the place. So we do need guidance.
Yes, and but the best thing is to just teach them or let them learn how to be mindful of their own. Just of their own preferences, ever since they are little kids, so that they know they're given the freedom to choose what they like, to find out what they like doing, and then you won't have the problem of them not wanting to do anything if you let them do their own thing. If you don't tell them what to do all the time, right?
Yeah, and there are so many great examples of people left to their own devices who found their right way. Look at a lot of great entrepreneurs didn't start businesses until after they were 40. A lot of great writers didn't write their first book until after they were 40. Mm-hmm. They needed to build up a whole life full of experience, and anyone can be a fuckwit until they're a certain point in time in life and wake up, right?
Yeah.
Anybody can
look at me.
For example. Look at me, for example.
Look at everyone.
Well, look at people. There's people who end up in prison and through that horrible experience find their way to God, for example, to a Christian lifestyle or any other kind of religious form of...
It's a growth. It's just the phase and the growth of the person. I wouldn't necessarily dismiss it as time wasted, right? Absolutely.
The pitter-patter of little feet.
Number 8, another myth. Rules teach self-control. Now, you might not agree with this being a myth, right? You may agree that rules teach self-control.
That's a contradictory statement. I'll tell you that from the beginning. Sorry, I'll shut up now.
Okay. But the point of this author of this article is that the word is self-control, right? Mm-hmm. Therefore, rules, which is a control given from outside, cannot teach self-control. It only teaches you to submit to the control of somebody else, right? So the author suggests... So the author just suggests, not use rules to teach children self-control, but use other techniques. For example, teach them how to manage their emotions, for example, how to recognize them, because if you can control your emotions, then you can control your behavior, right?
Yes, because emotion is just motion. So if you remember that the emotion controls the motion.
Yeah, exactly. The so another point was model self-control. Show them what self-control looks like, right? And a very important point, which I always stress when people come to me with problems with their kids, I always say, understand children's capabilities. You cannot expect children to do something that they're not physically or psychologically capable of just yet. And same goes with self-control, because you can't expect a 3-year-old to have any, any amount of self-control. They're freaking 3 years old. I mean, you don't even have, I don't have self-control in 100% of the situations, so they have plenty of time to learn that. You just have to let them learn that.
Absolutely. So, I wanted to point out that the idea that rules teach self-control, I mean, self-control would be about making your own rules for yourself.
Yes.
All right, so you'd have to make your own rules to have self-control. You
Yes.
can't. Oh, have you brought a present for us, darling?
You get a present from Scotia.
Can I have the walrus, please, darling? Thank you very much. Oh, it's very kind
You
of
got
you.
the walrus. You got Wallace. His name is
I don't know
Oh,
Wallace.
what kind of
Show
noise
Facebook people.
Oh, I'm going to do it over here.
I love this dog.
I don't
Can
know
have
what.
it? Thank
I don't know
you.
what kind of noise walruses make.
I think they go.
No, that's you who does that. Right. Sorry, did I say something offensive? How unusual.
Woof woof.
Right.
Yeah. So there you go. I've got another.
no,
You wanted to say something? Sorry.
Yeah, it was about it's just a contradictory statement. Rules teach self-control. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Especially when they are
Imposed.
created externally. I've got an article here that relates to that.
Okay.
It's from
Really uncomfortable.
HBR, which is the Harvard Business Review. So it's all very official and formal. It's a long-term study on what kinds of bonuses motivate sales forces. And what they discovered is that a lot of companies motivate with external rewards.
Yes.
Are you okay? You look like
I
you
was
fall
just
off the
looking
chair
for
there.
I was just looking for a cushion to put under my underside.
Isn't it big enough? You're not cushioned enough.
I'm not cushioned
by
enough.
your
It's
big
really
ass there.
painful, actually.
Right. Because if you want to experience pain, try sitting on a stove with my hands. Okay. As bony as it is.
Bonnie King Charles. That was the person, no?
It's Bonnie Prince Charlie. No,
Oh.
Bonnie Prince Charles.
Bonnie.
Bonnie Prince.
Bonnie Prince Charlie.
Charles Edward Stuart led the
Zora,
Jacobite Revolution.
can you get me a cushion,
1745, I believe that was. All right.
please? Thank you. Small one.
You can. What are you doing? Do you really? Oh, the podcast stream looks like it's
Still there.
still
just
there,
hiding.
still running around in the background. Okay, just checking that's going okay.
Bring me a little cushion, the blue one. Small. Yes.
Can I help you? Is there something I can do for you?
You can slide the cushion under my underside.
I can't. It's too big.
Which means, well, my
Look,
underside.
here's a cushion.
Or the cushion.
Well, you're trying to do something which really shouldn't be done right now. If you can just hold on for 10 minutes, we'll be finished in 10 minutes. You don't really need to put a cushion under your arse right now for 10 minutes, do you?
Men.
Do you? You don't need
Men.
it. You don't
Just
need
not
it.
sensitive enough.
You don't need it.
Make your point.
There's a Lego Duplo dog over there. Who wants it? Can I have the Lego Duplo dog?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay.
What's the right kind of bonus to motivate your sales?
That's the article, the Harvard Business Review. And what they discovered is when they motivated their sales force with external motivations, their sales increased for 1 month or 2 months. But then there was a loss following that, which did not balance the gains that they made at the beginning. So any external motivation in terms of, say, extra financial benefits from more sales in the short term, actually, in the long term, caused less sales. So it had an extreme negative effect for businesses. And this you can see this happening all the time in all businesses.
Yeah, sure. Do you want me to take it apart?
What's happening? What do the kids want? There.
I just need to take some Lego apart for her. It's
Okay.
too difficult.
Okay, so what you see happening with with almost all sales forces in business is that they have peaks and increases, and then that's followed by very slow and steady decline, which then causes basically panic after 6 months to 1 year as people run around trying to make up their losses. They don't realize that when they have the short-term external benefits, that they're shooting themselves in the foot in the long term.
We
they
still
don't
need
realize,
to
and that's
find
why
it,
so many people lose their jobs. That's why sales are so variable at different times of the year.
Sure.
And people don't realize that it's caused by focusing on focusing on extrinsic motivation rather than internal motivation.
What would be the way to go? To give them some kind of a cause?
Yes.
Yes. That would be the way to go.
To realize what sparks their interest, what interests them about their job and their position in sales. And if they're not interested by any of those things, they shouldn't be doing that job anyway. So it's understanding the people.
Okay, take it.
Can we get Will to help her over there, or is she going to be okay getting that stuff by herself? I don't like those I don't know answers, but
Will,
if you sit down, we'll get Will to help you with it. Will, could you come and help us for a moment, please? So when we actually need something, he ignores us. Okay, no.
She needs a tablet of some sort. There's no tablet in the green case. I don't know where she's put it, but find a tablet for her so she can play, please.
You know where it is. Help her down, Will. You can't just say, come on, like that.
Darling, there's no tablet there. Will's going to give you one, okay?
He knows where it is. Show her there's no tablet there, Will. She doesn't understand. Take it out. Take it out and show her, Will, so that she can see it and she can understand.
Look, there is no tablet.
Don't explain. Show. There we go.
She wants Zora's.
Okay, give her Zora's.
But make sure she has it on the couch and that she's not perched on the edge of that chair.
Well, I have another point here, which is another.
Okay, so if you want more to read, if you're interested in business, you want to read more about the article. It's entitled "What's the Right Kind of Bonus to Motivate Your Sales Force in the Harvard Business Review," and it's a very in-depth study.
Super. Thank you, Will.
Thank you for helping, Will. Right.
Good. Well, I have another parenting myth here, number 9, and that is children can't be trusted. And it is very common, and I grew up with that because
children can't be trusted.
Yeah, children can't be trusted.
It says a lot about your own level of trust, doesn't it?
Many people seem to think that the way to take care of children is to ask in any situation what is the most stupid and dangerous thing that children could possibly do, and then act as if they were sure to do it, said John Holt. And he was right.
You're going to have to repeat that again because I was focusing on our kids there. Will hasn't set up the tablet for her. He just left her with it and wandered off.
I'll turn it on for you, sweetie. Come on. It was on the charger. It should be charged. I hope.
Why would it not be charged if it was on the charger?
I don't know. Here, sweetie.
Oh.
Take it. If it needs more charging, take it to the kids' room. There's a charger there.
Take it to Will, and Will will help you charge it. That was close. Right.
So,
Can you repeat the quote?
Repeat John Holt.
John Holt's quote.
Many people seem to think that the way to take care of children is to ask in any situation what is the most stupid and dangerous thing the children could possibly do, and then act as if they were sure to do it.
I don't understand that statement. Repeat that.
That if you have a situation like you want to go with the kids to the forest, then many parents often act like the most dangerous thing that the kids can do in the forest. They're going to do that.
They present that extreme as normal.
As they expect the worst possible outcome, and they try to prevent it, even though they don't have to. They don't
that
trust
goes against basic positive principles, which are expect the best. Why does she need you?
Because she finished peeing, and Will is not going to wipe her butt, is he?
No. Can you put your computer down first before you take all that off? Otherwise, you're going to get everything tangled and everything, step by step, magical processes.
You won't let me finish.
You're waving your microphone in the air above your head because you didn't listen to me.
No.
Right?
No, that is not right.
Can you put the computer down first, like I explained, and then pass the mic to me, and then we go. Look, problem has been solved. Processes, everything needs.
Problem.
That's why you were waving the microphone above your head.
Waving the microphone because I was trying to speak to you.
Yeah, Are you enjoying it? Are you having a nice day wherever you are out there? Yeah. Did the sun shine? Is the sun shining? Are the birds singing? Are you focusing on positive, practical parenting skills? Positive, peaceful, practical parenting skills, I think, are what it's all about. So, welcome back to the conversation. What's that on your feet?
Can you focus? Can you focus?
I'm focused on your feet.
You like
Well, what is that? What is that on your feet? What have you put on your feet?
socks. You won't believe this,
Are they socks?
but I've put socks on my feet.
But they're kind of special socks. No? I haven't seen those before.
You're like those dogs in that movie. Remember the movie Up?
No.
There's a movie, kids movie.
Oh, it's
called
the
Up.
old people who don't want to move house and
Yes,
developers.
and
come in.
and
Got it. Right.
and there are these
Oh.
dogs, and the dog talks about something, and then suddenly he goes, squirrel, right? Because the squirrel catches his attention. And then he continues to talk about something, and then he goes, squirrel! You're like that. You're like,
You don't.
parenting socks, parenting, something else, parenting, poop, parenting, you
Okay,
know?
I'm going to explain to you something that you don't know. Right?
Right?
And what you don't know, don't pull the cables. What you don't know is that in conversations, in longer conversations and topics, people find it very difficult to focus, right? Especially in podcasts and other things. So bringing in these ideas actually sparks the brain to refocus on what's going on. Yeah. So I'm not bringing in these ideas because I'm not focused. I'm bringing these ideas to capture the attention of people who are listening. It's a strategy which has been proven to work.
But it's
Yes.
extremely
Because
difficult for me to focus on something.
if you just go on about the same topic in the same way all the way through, people go to sleep, right? They go to sleep. So you've got to inject it. You know that's why modern films are kind of, a lot of them are so boring because they've got these formulaic ways in which they have to present things every 30 seconds in order to keep people's attention. So
That's what makes them boring.
that's what makes them formulaic. See, I've got you here to counter that, because if I was doing this all myself, it would just sound schizophrenic. But I'm counterbalancing your presentation skills and also derailing you at the same time.
Exactly. I had it extremely hard to focus on anything that makes sense when you do that.
Especially with kids running around, right?
I'm used to the kids running around. You keep getting
Look,
distracted.
expect the best, prepare for the worst. Expect the best, prepare for the worst.
It's basically
Expect the best, prepare for the worst.
it's basically the good old, don't run, you're gonna fall, right?
Don't climb the tree, you're going to fall out the tree,
Yeah,
kind of thing. Yeah.
exactly. It's the same kind of thing. That looks perfect, darling. You just have
Well,
to
it's great
trust.
if you put it on.
You just have to trust your kids to I mean, yeah, you want to keep them safe, you want to stay safe, you want to keep your hand underneath them when they climb, but just
Keep your hand underneath them when they climb.
don't tell them not to climb, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. Just sorting out the YouTube stream over here.
Yeah. So, because what that creates, what we talked about yesterday, is the kids don't trust themselves. If we don't trust them, they won't trust themselves.
And you have to be allowed to make mistakes to a certain extent.
Yes.
To a certain extent.
Yeah. So, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. People often imagine the worst. Don't imagine the worst. Expect the best.
Yes.
That's what we're saying.
Yes. And don't just don't.
Yes, but he's saying that, but he's not doing that. Yes, we are trying. That's the difference. We're all trying.
Don't suspect that your children are lying in any situation either. That's also a very bad thing. Don't suspect it, obviously. Don't tell them that, right? Don't ask questions like, is this true? Right? Or, are you sure this is how it happened?
Isn't that what teachers do when there's a problem? They're like, is this true?
I don't know.
Did this happen?
My mom is a teacher, and she was always exposed to a lot of fibbing, right?
Fibbing, oh, that's a great word.
But she would then treat all the kids, including us, suspecting that we're fibbing.
Here come
right?
the balloons.
She would always go into the conversation like, is what they're saying really true? Yeah, sometimes the kids are going to fib, and when they do it the first time, it will be obvious, right? But
there's nothing behind my back.
Just don't go into the conversation with, okay, he's probably going to lie right now, and I have to make sure that he's not lying. You don't have to make sure he's not lying. You just have to listen, right?
Yeah, well, listening will provide you with all the information that you need. And the question is the answer. Forced
sharing promotes generosity and good social skills. Again, we've got the force there.
That's divided like one way. Take away the word forced, right? And you get sharing promotes generosity and good social skills.
Yeah.
Which is true, but it has to be real, intrinsically based sharing.
Yes.
Yeah. Because, do you know what the worst parenting phrase to use ever? The worst parenting phrase to ever use is, you have to share.
You have to share,
You have to share. It's the worst thing you can say to your kids, you have to share. Because have to is externally motivated force, and sharing is an intrinsically based activity, and so that it just creates conflict in the child's mind. It's impossible. You're asking the child to do something which is impossible.
Again, modeling sharing.
We're all caught in the language trap.
Yeah, modeling sharing again is the way to go. I mean, I model, I show, and I talk about what I'm doing, right? I've got something, I've got a roshchik, and I'm going to say, oh, look, there's 3 of us, so let's cut it into 3 parts, and each of us will have a part, and then we will all be happy, right? And the kids will pick it up just like that. I mean, I have an experience that the younger the kid is, the more likely they are to share. Now, I'm not talking about there is a period of time in a child's development around the age of 1.5 years old when they feel really strongly about ownership, about having things, right? And they're going to have these funny behavior where they're going to pick up all the toys and try to hold it all at the same time, and their arms saying mine, right? And that's okay, and that's normal, and that's kind of, discovering the territorial and the ownership and that. But all in all, when it comes to doing things like sharing a piece of chocolate, say, or something, I have the experience that little kids would do that naturally because they saw it happening before, right? So, Zora would come over and she would just say, okay, piece for you, piece for you, piece for you, there we go. But when it comes to taking turns, that's more difficult.
It's a great point that real sharing is natural.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be induced.
It doesn't have to be enforced. Yes.
Excuse me, Will, why are you waving your arms like a manic person behind the camera here? Good. Could you wait 5 minutes until we finish the podcast,
We're almost finished.
Please, could you go to your room for 5 minutes instead of standing behind the camera waving your arms at me? Because it's...
5 minutes.
It's just a little bit too distracting. Thank you.
So, taking turns is more difficult for children because that includes patience, and then includes some kind of time notion in their head. They have to realize they don't know what it means 5 minutes. They don't know what it means a little while, okay?
Yeah, I just told Will to wait 5 minutes. I'm very aware that my 5 minutes becomes 10
He
minutes.
knows. He's old enough and he knows what 5 minutes means. But when you tell a 3-year-old to wait 5 minutes, she has no idea what you're talking about, right? If you tell her wait a little
5
while,
minutes and 3 weeks for a 3-year-old.
exactly. If you tell her to wait a little while, that may be extremely long for her, because last time you told her to wait a little while, it actually took you 1 hour, right? Because that can happen sometimes. So she doesn't know. So she's going to panic if she needs to take turns. And that has to be trained. But when it comes to sharing something like food or, then I think they naturally do that if you don't enforce it. If you do enforce it, they're going to feel resentment and not do it.
A point that you made was ownership issues, right? So our youngest has this, it's mine.
Yeah.
It's mine. Is this the kind of ownership issue that we're talking about here?
Yes.
She's 2.5, right?
Yes.
And she thinks that everything is hers. And she
I was
picks it up and
talking
says,
about
"This
a
is
little
mine,
bit
this is
younger
mine, this is
age,
mine."
because she already has the cognitive capability to understand when I tell her it's not yours, it's for everybody. She understands that. And she knows that, right?
Balloon games going on in the background.
When she says it's mine, she doesn't actually think it's hers. She's just trying to say, I want to play with it right now. Right?
Okay.
And if I tell her it's for everybody and we should take turns, she understands that and she says, okay, right? So that's not exactly it. I'm talking about slightly younger children, around a year and a half.
Okay.
When they actually really just can't let go of anything because they're like, it's mine, and if you take it away from me, I'm going to die, kind of feeling.
Okay, that's cool. Can we do one more?
Yeah, sure.
Because I want to. I don't want to go over 1 hour 30.
Of course, number 11, punishment teaches children to be good, which we already really covered. didn't we?
Punishment teaches children to be good. So punishments are usually an attempt to cause some kind of hurt or pain. Even if it's still teaching a lesson, it's usually through hurt or pain. So you're teaching people that to be good, you have to experience pain. And this is
not a good idea.
It can be said that children are not cognitively developed enough to separate those ideas within their own mind. Perhaps as an adult you can parse the information and the concepts and the ideas, but children are still developing, they're still learning, they're still growing, they're going to be making a lot of mistakes, and the same way that parents should be still growing as well. And the fact
and
that parents
making a lot of mistakes. We've made some as well.
Yeah, if you're not, isn't that old saying that if you're not making mistakes, you're not doing anything.
You're not learning. Yeah.
But it's not that you're not learning; it's that you're not actually doing anything.
Yeah, that's a Slovak saying.
One of my clients, I made a mistake with a meeting time with one of my clients a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And I felt terrible about it, and I said, I'm really, really, really sorry. And they responded by saying, look, if you're not doing anything,
you won't make any mistakes.
You're not making any.
Kto nic nie robi, nic nie pokazi.
Yeah, as the Slovaks say. So, that made me feel better. That made me instantly feel better because I was feeling really bad, and I was like, okay, they understand.
Yes.
They understand
if you do things
when you're busy and there's a lot of things happening.
Yes.
You're going to forget to pick up something from the shop. You might even forget to put.
You don't even have to be busy. Just the act of actually doing something means that you are sooner or later going to make a mistake, whether you're busy or not. Just because you're actually doing something, right? So, yeah. So no, children won't be good because you punish them. Children don't need punishment to become good people. That's a myth, right? A lot of people are scared not to punish their children because they're worried that if their children don't have strict discipline, they're going to end up being bad people, going to prison, stealing, or whatever.
Here's the point: if you're punishing children, then childhood becomes a prison, because that's what prisons do. Prisons punish people for their actions, and if you're punishing people for their actions, then you're nothing better than a prison warden or a prison guard shooting a child.
This is actually one of the arguments that people who punish their children use. Like, well, when you're an adult and you do something wrong, you will be punished by the state, right? You will go to the prison. So we have to teach children that when they do something wrong, they will be punished, right? There is a certain logic to it, but we have to think about the fact that children, being children, the definition of being a child is the process of learning. When you're an adult, you should know better, right, already. But when you're a child, you're learning.
Balloons are great for catching skills, aren't they? The way that the balloon slowly falls down when the kid throws it up is great for developing those motor skills. Just watching the kids in the background there, watching Jazzy, and the balloon gives them, because it comes down slowly, gives them time to think and, you know, orientate their body. And
I think we should talk about a very important point as well, which is the intention.
1 minute.
Okay,
and then
1
I'm
minute.
But
this is very important, okay? Intention.
60 seconds.
Intention. Children make mistakes. Children do not want to hurt anyone, especially not their parents. If they do something deliberately that annoys their parents, they're not doing it to hurt the parents. They're doing it because they have something inside of them, some kind of inner turmoil that they need to express, right? But they never do anything out of pure cruelty.
Yeah,
right?
that's an adult.
That's an adult thing, which comes from bad experiences or from trauma in childhood, right? Okay. From cruel punishments, for example.
Yeah.
So
cruelty breeds cruelty. That's it.
I think we should always, when we talk about children that have done something wrong, we have to always have a look at the intention. That's, you know, like when Will sometimes says, but it was an accident, and you say, but that doesn't matter. Well, I think that it does matter whether you hurt somebody intentionally or unintentionally.
Zora has just stuffed 2 bread rolls in her mouth. Right?
Okay.
Okay.
We're not going to get to the last point, are we?
No, we're not. Which people can find the article, the title. Give us the title on the website very quickly.
12 mainstream parenting myths that need forget. What?
No, that's not the title.
The title is The Mainstream Parenting Myths We Need to Forget, and it is on the website called Happiness is Here.
Blog.com.
Blog.com.
There you go. You got to read it from that part.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
right. Thank you very much for tuning in today. Thank you very much for joining us on our parenting journey. Remember, be practical, be peaceful, be positive. How cool is that? The 3 Ps. Practical, peaceful, and positive. We should patent that. Practical, peaceful, and positive.
Can you patent the 3 Ps?
Yeah. Imagine 3 Ps in a pod. Yeah, exactly. Okay, darling, we're going to finish in 30 seconds. Okay, more information about what we do, www.nsa-slovakia.com. We've got the Facebook pages. We are the Academy of Language Therapy and Life Coaching. Check out the YouTube channel, 1,000 videos there on education and personal development.
Check out the 21st Century Mom.com.
21centurymom.com
for some extra support for the mothers.
Yes, if you're interested in keeping in touch with us every day, join us on Facebook, sign up for the free email, daily educational and motivational, inspirational ideas. That's how you can find us, that's how you can link up to us, interact with us, leave a message, write a question, leave a link to a story or an article. Leave a link to your own articles. If you write something, then leave a link to that. That would be really cool. We want to hear from you. We want to connect. Peoples. We want to connect. So, thank you very much for paying attention. Thank you very much for tuning in. And we're going to shut down the streams one by one. How did we do this last time? Did we do the podcast first?
I have no idea.
Okay, we're going to shut down the podcast first. So thank you very much for listening to the podcast, guys. Say bye on the podcast.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, we're going to shut down Facebook. Thank you very much for tuning in to us on Facebook. We'll speak to you soon. There we go. And on YouTube. Hello over there, guys.
Thank you very much for listening. I'm sorry that we didn't look at you very often, but
there we go.
There you go.
Yeah, stay cool, guys, and like, subscribe, share, comment, do all the good stuff. Okay, say bye.
Bye.